My name is Jason Miller. I studied commercial design in college, and after graduating, I landed a job at an advertising design firm. The company wasn't a giant in the industry, but it was performing fairly well. More importantly, I got into the job I always wanted, so I was full of motivation. I enjoyed my work, and I felt lucky to have good colleagues, thinking I joined a great company.
Hey, how about we all go out to eat today?
Sure, I'm in.
Me too.
Count me in as well.
The immediate response to my invitation came from Tom Harris, a colleague from the same batch, with whom I got along really well. Maybe it was because we had similar tastes, or perhaps because the type of designers we aspire to be were the same, our preferences. Even our design tendencies were quite alike. You copied me, didn't you?
No, you did.
We enjoyed teasing each other like that. Then, the other one was Mary Johnson. She was also from the same batch, an exceptional designer. If I wasn't careful, she'd outdo me in no time. She was always cheerful, good at lifting everyone's spirits. The one who brought up eating out was Marcus, friendly and very reliable. Plus, he was handsome and popular with the ladies. He often invited us out for meals or drinks. Sometimes, those outings turned into discussions about design, which was fun in its own right. I felt blessed to have such great colleagues. I was truly happy when a project I proposed was accepted and featured in the media for the first time. It made me find even more value in my work. In my third year at the company, I fell in love with Sarah Williams, a new employee, at first sight. After a relentless pursuit, we started dating. Sarah was so beautiful that everyone turned to look at her, and when she agreed to date me, I felt over the moon. A year into our relationship, we got married. Furthermore, the following year, I participated in a designer's competition on my boss's recommendation. I didn't win the top prize, but I was among the awardees. My boss was pleased, and I started to receive jobs specifically requesting me. Life was smooth sailing. A beautiful wife, a thriving career, I had no worries about the future. I thought my happy life would go on forever. However, one day, something happened that shook the very foundation of my life. Just like any other day, I went to the workplace, and was suddenly called into the manager's office. I couldn't recall doing anything wrong. I wondered if it was about a new project or a new job as I made my way to the office.
Jason, I can't believe you would do something like this.
Excuse me. I had no idea what he was talking about.
I had high hopes for you. What a disappointment.
I'm sorry, but I don't follow.
Are you playing dumb at this stage?
Playing dumb? What exactly are you referring to? I asked back, and the manager let out a deep sigh.
It's about your design for the recent internal competition for the Smiling advertising project.
Oh, is that? What about it?
That wasn't your design, was it?
I beg your pardon.
It's almost identical to the design Marcus submitted a day before you.
For a moment, I couldn't grasp his words. Wait, what do you mean by that?
That's what I want to know. I heard you've done something like this before.
I don't understand what you're saying.
It's about the piece you submitted in the competition you won previously. Wasn't that actually Marcus's work?
That was completely news to me. I had no clue where such a story could have come from.
Marcus said he noticed the similarity with the previous competition after you submitted your work, but he didn't say anything. However, he couldn't stay silent about this one.
Wait a minute. Are you saying I stole Marcus's design? That came out of the blue. There's no way that could be true. Though that's what I thought. The design Marcus submitted, which the manager handed to me, was almost identical to mine, not just similar. It wasn't the first time my work resembled, but the opponent was Tom's. Still, of course, for the details to be exactly the same was unheard of. I couldn't understand what was happening. I hadn't even seen Marcus while I was working on this design, let alone showed it to him. Even not talked to him about it. So, there's no way Marcus could have known about my design. But the similarity wasn't just a coincidence. Anyone could see that such a resemblance couldn't happen without one knowing about the other's work. Moreover, since Marcus submitted his design first, it was clear I was at a disadvantage. Still, I knew this design was my own idea. I had mulled over for days. Does that mean Marcus plagiarized my work? But that seemed unlikely. I couldn't think of when he would have had the chance. What's going on here? I perplexed in my mind.
Your punishment will be communicated later.
I didn't do anything.
That's a poor excuse.
I wasn't given a chance to defend myself. As I left the manager's office, it seemed like everyone already knew about it, whispering as they glanced at me. Smile Incorporated was a client that spent a lot on advertising, so it was a good account to work on. I really wanted to do it myself. I worked on it day and night, even bringing it home. My wife Sarah would ask every night when I'd stop working, I'd just say a little longer, staying up late into the night staring at the computer. Nevertheless, sometime later, I was suggested by the manager to resign voluntarily.
Not firing you is the company's mercy.
It was clear I couldn't stay. Everyone thought I had stolen Marcus's design to claim the credit. I felt their stares, wondering if all my previous designs were also stolen. I left the company. Carrying my belongings out, everyone's gazes felt cold. It stung like an ice arrow. Marcus looked at me too. With a look of disdain, his eyes were mocking. Seeing that, I finally understood. I don't know how, but I had been set up. However, it didn't end there.
Let's get a divorce.
When I got home after being fired, Sarah said that to me as soon as she saw me. She bluntly stated she didn't need a man who got fired. I had no energy left to argue. Just like that, our 3 years of marriage came to an end. Betrayed by a trusted team member and abandoned by my wife, I literally lost everything. I spent some time in a state of listlessness. During this period, Tom got in touch with me.
How is it going?
Well, too bad.
I heard you left the company.
Yeah. Actually, Tom had left the company 3 months before I did. It was a bit of a surprise when he left, since he hadn't mentioned anything before. I asked him why, but he didn't give a clear reason.
That frame, didn't you?
Huh. It turns out, he had left because something similar happened to him. A design he came up with was used elsewhere, exactly as he had made it. Why didn't you tell me?
Sorry, to be honest, I suspected you.
Okay, I see. When I heard that a design identical to mine appeared elsewhere, Tom was the first person who came to my mind.
You were close with Marcus, and I couldn't think of anyone else. We talked about designs a lot.
It later became clear that it was Margaret who showed Tom's design to Marcus. Margaret? Margaret was one of our newly team members, a serious and quiet woman, not very noticeable. She had left the company a little while ago. After leaving, she came to see Tom. She confessed that Marcus had asked her to steal Tom's design. Tom often asked her to handle his design files. He had never imagined the quiet Margaret would do such a thing. Apparently, she had been dating Marcus, but after being dumped, she realized she was only used, and came to Tom crying, apologizing. Tom said he felt too sorry for her to blame her.
Everyone's gone their separate ways.
Another colleague, Mary, had left just before I got married. She said she was leaving for marriage, but I don't know who she married. She mentioned having a small family ceremony back home.
Here's a proposition for you.
A proposition?
How about we start a company together?
That's cool. I was taken aback. I knew I needed to find a new job eventually, but starting my own company had never crossed my mind. But it didn't seem like a bad idea. After all, I had nothing left to lose. Even if we failed, things couldn't get any worse. With that thought, I took Tom up on his offer. From then on, we worked tirelessly, not taking any days off. We took on any job we could get, no matter how small, sparing no effort. Amidst all that, something was bothering me.
Tom, has your design sense changed?
I noticed that the designs and plans Tom was coming up with lately were quite different from before.
Finally caught on, huh?
What?
Actually, there's someone I want you to meet.
Saying that, Tom took me to a hospital. He bypassed the reception and headed straight for the elevator. In that hospital room was a woman I knew. It had been a long time, but it was undoubtedly her.
Mary.
Wow, Jason.
It was indeed Mary, my ex-colleague. She smiled happily upon seeing me.
What's going on?
I found out that since leaving the company, Mary had been living with an illness. She had visited the hospital due to feeling unwell before quitting, and discovered she had an undiagnosed rare disease.
So, you left because of that? Why didn't you tell me?
What could you have done? Besides, you were about to get married, and I didn't want to rain on your parade.
Apparently, Tom ran into her by chance at this hospital when he came in for a cold.
But I heard your wife left you. Such a lame.
Mary laughed, not seeming sick at all, but she looked much friendlier than her I remembered. It pained me to see her, once so vibrant and always smiling, like this.
Well. So, those innovative design ideas that didn't seem like Tom's.
That's right.
Mary was the one who suggested we start the company.
So the company is really the three of us.
I said I was fine with not being involved. With my condition, I can't really contribute.
It's fine, right, Jason?
Of course. With Mary, we're stronger than 100 people.
Jason.
Tom must have said that to cheer her up. I realized that immediately. Actually, it was also clear how talented a designer she was. Having her on board would be incredibly reassuring. We frequently visited Mary to brainstorm plans. I worried if we were burdening her, but soon I looked forward to seeing her always smiling face. That motivated me even more in my work. Thanks to our efforts, the company gradually took off, and by a few years, we were making a decent profit and were able to hire more staff. I had no time for myself, but seeing the results of our work was far more fulfilling than my time at the previous company. One day, I ran into my ex-wife Sarah in the lobby of my condominium.
Wow, it's you, Jason. What are you doing here? This is a luxury condo, the least suitable place for you.
She laughed as she said that. Then, Marcus appeared behind her.
Let me introduce you. This is my current husband.
Jason, what are you doing here for begging, huh?
So that's what it was. I supposed. I finally understood who had been stealing my designs.
You guys live here.
Yeah, I live on the 3rd floor here. What do you think? Jealous? What about you? Don't tell me you have friends here? Someone like you, a pauper, has such friends?
No, I don't have any friends here.
I thought so.
I live on the penthouse floor here.
Are you kidding us?
Both of them looked at me as if they had seen a ghost. I quickly headed for the elevator, leaving them behind. A few months later, I ran into Sarah again in the lobby.
Jason. I've been waiting for you.
Do you need something?
I was thinking I could come back to you.
Apparently, Marcus got fired from the company after it came to light he was once again using a female employee to steal designs from a team member. On top of that, he was caught having an affair with her. When he tried to break it off, the female employee he used got furious and spilled the beans about everything. Marcus and Sarah got divorced and sold the condo.
So now, it's fine, right?
I'm already married.
What?
With that, I went back to my home.
Hi honey, how was your day?
Inside, Mary, who had become my wife, greeted me. We got married 2 years ago. When I proposed, she was hesitant. She said we didn't know what the future held, that she might not be able to have our children, and therefore couldn't marry me. But I persisted, proposing to her multiple times. Then, she said,
I've always loved you.
unconsciously, her words moved me to tears. What a roundabout journey it had been. We never knew how much time we had left together, and it didn't a big deal whether we could have children or not. I just wanted to spend every possible moment with her. And now, 5 years have passed since our marriage started. Mary is still here, smiling at me. Beside her is our beloved daughter. When we found out we were expecting, the doctor was hesitant about the pregnancy. I was opposed too. Because Mary was more important to me than an unborn child. However, she insisted on going through with it, saying,
This baby will be your support if anything happens to me. It might be the last gift I can give you. Plus, I'll live on through this child.
I couldn't argue with that. Our daughter will soon be 3 years old. No one knows how much time Mary has left, whether it's decades or just a day. All I know is that I want to cherish Mary's smile aimed at me for as long as I can.
I forbid you from going anywhere before I can repay all the happiness you've given me.
If that's the case, I'll have to outlive you.
Mary said with a laugh.